Hey everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. What we have today is a show and tell, which I have not done one of these in a while. For those of you who may not know what these show and tell videos are, basically I have a bunch of stuff here that I want to take a look at, but I wasn't planning on doing like a full review of it. I'll unbox some things, we'll take a look at some things, see how some things can be used in ways other than what they were intended to be, and basically, like I said, it's just show and tell. So, we have a board game here, we have a role-playing game, a Funko Pop, which I've never bought a Funko Pop before, McFarlane Toys Skyrim, which this might be the first thing we take a look at, and we have a WWE Slamcycle over here, which you'll see what I have that for in a moment. So, without further ado, let's dive into this. Alright, and the first thing we're going to start with is Alduin from McFarlane Toys. This is for Skyrim. I believe this is for the 10 years of Skyrim here from 2011 to 2021. They just came out last year, or was the beginning of this year, I can't remember, with a 10th anniversary edition of the game that was basically an update if you had the original one, or you could buy it as its own standalone game. I'm not entirely sure because, believe it or not, I've never actually played Skyrim. I know, I'm the only one. I played Morrowind. I loved Morrowind. I played Oblivion. Oblivion was okay. By the time Skyrim came out, and I had already played Morrowind and Oblivion and Fallout, I was kind of over Bethesda's format for RPGs and their open world and a combat system that's not really a combat system. It's just mash a button and hope you hit. But I do love Elder Scrolls Online. Don't get me wrong. Like, I spend so much time wasting my life in Tamriel playing Elder Scrolls Online. I just never got into Skyrim. So when this went up live for sale on Big Bad Toy Store, and I think it might have been only on Big Bad Toy Store originally, this was issued as a limited release, and it was on their website for like a day. And I put this in my pile of loot. I pre-ordered this. I put this in my pile of loot. And then every time I would go back to check on it, the page for this had just disappeared. Like, this was still in my pre-orders, but the web page for it just disappeared. And I was like, holy cow, is that really how limited of a release that it is that it sold out in a day? But then when it got dumped into my pile of loot, and it went live for this, all of a sudden, I don't know, all of a sudden, it was back on Big Bad Toy Store. So, as far as I know, you can still get this on Big Bad, and I think it's like $20, but the disappointment for me comes in how small he is. I thought it was going to be like this. I didn't think it was going to be huge, but I thought it might be at least the size of like their big figures, McFarlane Toys big figures, or a mega fig even. I don't know, the price probably should have given it away, but I was hoping that I would be able to put this with my Witcher line, but as you can see, putting Geralt up next to him, he's not very big for a dragon, especially when we see how big they were in the show. By the way, I have like two of the McFarlane Toys Knights Templar Azrael, and I swapped out swords so that, one, not all my Azraels are using the same sword, and two, I just think this looks really cool for Geralt. It's silver, shinier, whereas like his normal blades are just dull gray. So I kind of like that that's the silver sword, and this is his steel sword. So, get in there. It's a little bit of a tight fit. There we go. So, that looks good with Geralt. But, yeah, it's not a very big dragon. And just to see how not big it is, let's open him up. This is, as you saw with the Lego blind bags, I have lost my big knife. This is my stand-in that I found. So let's cut that open. And let's get him out of the packaging. Oh, that's a really cool backdrop right there. Might be able to use that. Don't know. Oh, but maybe not, because to get the stand piece out, to get the stand piece out, we're going to have to rip right into that, which kind of sucks. Or can we just... There we go. We might be able to use that. Who knows? It's pretty cool. Alright. So let's get him out. Snip the plastic that is holding him in. Snip there. Snip there. I'll give McFarlane this. They don't skimp on the packaging. These things are definitely in there. And I know I've heard and seen videos of people complaining about McFarlane's quality control. Luckily, knock on wood, I've never had really much of an issue other than maybe some tight joints with McFarlane figures falling apart or being loose or anything like that. Now watch, his wings will fall off and prove me wrong. Okay, so... I don't know. He's not bad. Like, I could have used some black or some wash in there so that he doesn't just look like a big gold figure. Although, like I said, wanting to use it for The Witcher, that's pretty much how they portrayed. Jaws hinged. The head is hinged a little. He can look side to side a bit. He has tilt. All right. The neck articulates there as well. The wings look like they have some ridiculous articulation, that they can go down, they can come up, they can swoop forward, they can sweep back. You can get all kinds of different looks out of them. That's pretty cool. The legs look like they might be on ball joints. No, it looks like they just pivot back and forth. He has peg holes in the feet, which are amusing to me. Okay, he has some ankle movement too. That the ankles twist and they rock forward a little. They rock back a little. And the tail twists. Oh, and the tail is bendy. Is there a bendy wire in it? I think there is. I think there's a bendy wire in the tail. That's cool. That's real cool. I wasn't expecting that. All right. All right, Todd, you got my attention. And then there's a bit of a ball joint here where it connects to the main body. All right, so he's not horrible. He's just not as big as I had hoped he would be. And you can really see some detail. And it is coming out. It looks great, I think, on the camera because all the shadows are highlighting the scales. I mean, in some ways it looks like a mess, but in other ways it looks like a work of art. I don't know. I haven't been able to decide yet. What do you think? So let's set him aside for now. I don't know if he can stand on his own, but let's take a look at his base stand. That we have a gold base stand with some black dragon bones here. So that's pretty cool. And I like that the black of the dragon bones is in like a very dull matte so that it stands out against this gold. And I thought this was solely a flight stand, but something that I just noticed, there's a foot peg right there. So you can peg him in. Can you? Yeah. You can peg him in like he's standing on his horde or his victory stance if you want. So that's pretty cool. Because I thought it was only going to be a flight stand. I don't know, now that I have this open, even though I'm still not thrilled about the size, I'm getting more and more into this guy. So let's pull him off. And then we have... That's a metal rod. I thought that was going to be clear plastic, but that is a metal rod that goes into this hole right here. And it just pops in. And you can get all kinds of... Oh, he can, like, be swooping in action poses. Let's raise this up a little. Oh, that looks cool. Okay, I'm actually a little bit more into this than I thought I was going to be. All right, so you have him there. And what did I do with Geralt? Let's put him... Okay, that's not too bad. If you don't think that it's a dragon, or maybe it's a dragon hatchling. I don't know. Or you can do forced perspective where it's coming up from the horizon, I guess. I don't know. I'm actually more into this than I thought I was going to be. I think it's only $20. So, well, that right there should have been a realization that it wasn't going to be as big as I wanted it to be. But there we go. Alduin, Elder Scrolls 10th anniversary. All in all, I'm more impressed with it than I thought I was going to be. All right, next up is something else that I found on Big Bad Toy Store. As a matter of fact, most of what you're going to see in this video I got on Big Bad Toy Store, with the exception of two items, and I'll point those out when we get there. But what we have here is Hasbro Games, the Game of Life Jurassic Park edition that just came out. Now, I'm not going to open this. We're not going to take a look at this because this is actually something that I bought as a Christmas present, and this is my sister-in-law's Christmas present, one of them, because they have family game nights, and my sister-in-law is hugely into Jurassic Park. I'm putting it up here because I have no fear that she's going to see it because she doesn't watch the show. So I can show you this, but I'm not going to open it. But first of all, I really like the graphic, the artwork that they have for the box with Rexy coming out of the Jurassic Park opening. Very like iconic look right there with the gates, the wires, Rex coming out. You'll notice that this is more of a generic looking ATV. This isn't actually the Jeeps. And I'm guessing that's because they didn't want to pay Chrysler to use the Jeep image on here. Because if we flip this around, you can see even that the pieces here are designed to look like generic Jeeps. They're designed to look like this vehicle right here on the front, but they're not really Jeeps. They're just generic ATVs, which is fine. That's cool. But something else that it comes with these three dino pieces, and it looks like that as you play the game, the dinosaurs rampage through the park and have the chance to cross paths with the players and maybe knock them back or something. I don't know. But I really like the look of the board, how you have the park down here. It looks like you have the gates right here as well. You have your spinner over here, the cards. Everything looks cool, very brightly colored, very Jurassic looking from the Jurassic Park series. Honestly, I've only seen like the first two movies. I haven't seen anything else. I saw the first one. I love the first one. I actually just saw it recently. Watched the second one. Thought the second one was okay. I started watching the third one and then I turned it off, but I haven't seen any of the new Jurassic World movies. But this looks cool. I like the look of this. And I don't know. I hope it's fun. I hope she likes it. But if any of you have bought it, let me know. Do the dinosaurs get to rampage through the park and just wreck the players? All right, and now from Mattel, we have the WWE Wreckin Slamcycle, and this is the Drew McIntyre version. And the gimmick of this is that you can just wreck the bike. You can pull it apart. You can use the pieces as foreign objects. You can beat other wrestlers with them. That's cool. That's cool if you're into collecting the WWE line. I am not. I got this and the other one for completely different reasons. Target has this one, the orange one for Drew McIntyre that sort of has like this tribal painting on it. And then Walmart has a black one that is the Undertaker's Slamcycle. Now, the reason I got these is because of this. This looks so cool with Zartan. So we have Zartan, we have Zorana coming out, and we need motorcycles for them. We don't have any motorcycles except for like the Ram and the Coil, and those just aren't the kind of bikes the Dreadnoks rode. And this one, actually, if you look at the old original 80s comic and you see Zartan riding this thing, riding his bike, other than not having a sissy bar in back, this almost pretty much resembles the bike he was riding in the comics. I wish this was a little bit more chrome. Maybe I'll hit it with some silver paint. I don't know. But as is, these look really good for our Dreadnoks. So I have this one. I have this one. I'm not sure who I'm going to be giving this one to. Maybe Zorana, unless I find something else. But these are also, this is Walmart, that's Target. These are also on their way out. They're both on clearance, at least at the stores near me, where you can get these, I think, for like 15 bucks each. So, yeah, if you need some bikes for Zartan, if you need some bikes for your Dreadnoks, or even just your Joes in general, you want to give them some street choppers, check these out. These are really good for that. They also have a quad that's out right now, a red quad for the Slamcycle series, that I'm probably going to be picking that up and turning that into the Ferret for Tomax and Zaymot whenever they come out. And they also have a van or an ambulance that would be cool for the Joes. That you can either use it as an ambulance and use it as like a surveillance van, either for G.I. Joe or Cobra, or you could paint it, give it a different look, make it more of a military looking SWAT vehicle. But yeah, the I guess it's a Wreckin series. They have some pretty good vehicles. Oh, I think they have a Corvette out now too, or a Camaro. Might have to take a look at that. So yeah, decent vehicles, fits the figures, reasonable price. Don't want to say cheap, but definitely reasonable price. Check them out. The wheel does turn too, by the way. The front wheels do turn for that. So yeah. I've never bought a Funko Pop before in my life. This is definitely a first for me. I'm not a fan of Funko Pops. I don't get the whole craze for them. I don't think they're this generation's Beanie Babies as much as people like to say it. I don't believe that. But I'm just not a big fan of the aesthetic of Funko Pops. I am, however, a huge fan of Wonder Woman. And for her 80th anniversary, they came out with this Funko Pop down here with the cover, just the cover, of the Rebirth issue for Wonder Woman. And this is a little disappointing because I thought this was going to be like McFarlane's Page Punchers series that's coming out, where there would actually be a comic, like a reprint of the original comic in the case with her. But I'm pretty sure that's just a print for the cover. So let's open this up and, oh, there's no tape. Let's open this up and take a look at what's inside. It's tight. All right, there we go. And yeah, that is just a print. That is not, you can see that. It's just cardboard. That is not a, that is not a comic at all. So, I mean, it's a little disappointing. It still looks good. It'll look good as a display piece. Something that I like is that, let's raise this again. Something that I like is that you can see there's holes up there at the top for hanging, for mounting. So you can mount it to the wall. Looks like there's some kind of mount down here. I don't know what that all is. And I think this screw, yeah, screws into the back of her head to hold the figure in place. So if you take the Funko Pop figure out of the case, that's just going to have a big hole in the back of her head right there. So, But I do like that you can hang it on a wall. I do like the display possibilities for it. I just wish that was actually a comic in there. This is sheathed in plastic. I'll probably peel that off later, maybe. But yeah, that's just a cardboard print in there of the Rebirth issue. But Diana herself, even like the cute little skull down here, the little Funko skull. Diana herself looks pretty good. I do like the coloring. I like how she has the toga, the shawl on, very much reflecting what she is on the cover up here. Has her lasso, her sword. Yeah, this whole thing looks really good. And you can even see, I don't know if you can see, but if behind her, there is the skull on the ground there. So this is a fairly decent representation of how she is on the cover. So that's cool. That'll be a nice display piece. I just wish, like I said, that was actually a comic or a reprint of the comic in there. And now last, but certainly not least, we have the core rule book for the G.I. Joe role-playing game by Renegade Game Studios. I was really excited when I found this. I was really happy to get this in my hands. I am a huge fan of pen and paper tabletop RPGs. I definitely prefer them over video game RPGs, even multiplayer ones like Elder Scrolls Online or World of Warcraft. I definitely like just being able to do literally whatever you want to do within the rules. As a matter of fact, I run a weekly game right now set in the Robotech universe using the SMG rules that just came out a few years ago, and we've been playing that for a couple years, and we're having a blast with that. I'm really excited to get my hands on this, because I'm sure you've noticed, G.I. Joe is a huge fandom of mine, and Hasbro hasn't really been giving us much of anything, so to get this was fantastic. Hasbro's kind of like backed up on their G.I. Joes right now. I've had some stuff for pre-order for like almost a year at this point. What I like about this rulebook is you can see the aesthetic It's very, very much the new classified series look to these characters here. You have the Rattlers up here. In the rules, there's rules for doing things as wacky as the cartoon series was in the 80s, or as grounded and realistic as the comic can be. You can go sci-fi with this, totally sci-fi like the movies were, or you can just have your own mood, your own vibe, your own setting for this. They have rules that you can pretty much play in any G.I. Joe sandbox you want to play in, whether it's any of the pre-established ones or whether it's something that you just want to create on your own. It uses something, I think it's called like a D20. It's some sort of, what is it called? Does it say on the back here? I can't remember. It uses Essence 20 right here. That the 20-sided die is your main die, and as you increase your skills, you just add more dice to the pool. So it's sort of like a cross between the D20 system and the D6 bucket of dice system, except you never really hit that huge bucket of dice for it. Look at how thick this thing is. For a core rulebook, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to come out with an expansion book, because they pretty much have everything you need right here. This is one of those versions of the books where, if I can find the vehicles, they have templates for the vehicles in here. They have the Vamp, they have the Hiss Tank, they have the Sky Striker. There we go, we got the Moray right there. That the rules are, I don't want to say generic, but we'll say adaptable enough that the vehicles they give you for a template in here, you could pretty much make any vehicle you wanted, house rule it, and not feel like you're breaking the rules for what is available here. The artwork on here is great too. Like, check out Destro right there. Definitely his classified look, but that just looks fantastic. The artwork through this whole thing, there's our boy, the hooded version. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I really hope we get a hooded version of Commander in the classified series, but here he is with his helmeted version. All right. Some great artwork. Scarlet fighting an eel. There is so much you can do. There's the Vamp Mark II. There is so much you can do as far as creating a character in this goes. I'm not going to go wholly into it, but you have so many options. Oh, and the weapons are vague enough that you can just have, like, it just has rifle, pistol. You can pretty much, like, this is the crunch. You can fill in the fluff to make it whatever you want it to be. So that this rifle could just be like a standard long rifle for hunting, or you could like put a scope on it, turn it into a sniper rifle. It's really cool. It's really adaptable. Oh, there's Dawn and Storm Shadow going at it. If you don't know, Dawn is from the comic, kind of carrying Snake Eyes' memories right now. It's a long story. See what I mean, though? There's Roadblock with his big rail gun instead of his Ma Deuce. This is definitely the first classified version. But there are rules for, like, the Ma Deuce and everything in here as well. But there are so many... It's kind of a classless game where you don't really have a class. You have careers, and then you have specialties. Look, that is a great picture of Scarlet. And you have specialties. You have your 4 essences of strength, speed, smarts, and social. Oh, man. Like, you have the adventurer, you have the artisan, they have influencer perks, they have different hang-ups, they have suggested characters, and it even gives you an example. Like, the adventurer right here is Alpine, Sidetrack, and Outback. And then, like, if you look at the green shirt, which is basically just sort of like your infantry, you have Cutter and Footloose and Sparks. Let's find another one. Nomad. Oh, the martial artist, of course. You have Jinx, Quick Kick, and Snake Eyes. Small Roots. There was the Rangers were in here too. Let me see if I can find. No. Then you have backgrounds for the different armed forces. There's the Navy. There's the Air Force. Army. The Marines fall under the Air Force. I'm sorry, the Marine. Whoa, whoa, back up, guys. Stop typing. The Marines fall under the Navy. That was that was a slip of the lip. I didn't mean anything by it. You have origin traits, branches of military, which we just took a look at. Thrill Seekers, Clutch, Hit and Run, and Ripcord. Hit and Run was one of my favorites. I might have to make him as well. Specialists with Ace, Dusty, and Wetsuit. Like, these are all great. These are all great. There's so many options. There's so many ways that you can... Look, Checkered Past, Stalker, former gang leader. Like, there's just so many ways that you can make a character so that no two characters will be the same. And they do give you some examples. They give you some NPCs, obviously. You got Dusty, you got Duke. Faces? I don't know who Faces is. Footloose and Flint. Hawk. There's Hit and Run. Iceberg. Gung Ho. Jinx is in there. Kamakura is in there. Cobra is in here later. You got the Alduin and Cutter. Chuckles, Clutch. Doc, Bomb Strike, Bombardier, Deep Six, Cover Girls up there. Beachhead. Oh, man. All of them. Now, here's something else that they put in here that I want to draw attention to just because I love the fact that they put it in. Oh, also, how much do you love that they have this built-in page marker here? And look at that. Look at that with the Hiss Tank, the Rat, the Dragonfly, the Rattler, the Trouble Bubble, the Fang, the Conquest. All of that looks great. And you see you do have Roadblock back there with Ma Deuce. Like, this is a great classic look for G.I. Joe. But right here it says, it must be noted that a few G.I. Joe characters couldn't be used for boring legal reasons. Some Joes were based on celebrities, and the rights to use their likeness lapsed. There's one character in particular we wish we could have included, but we didn't want any lawyers to send us home in a ditty bag.
An itty bitty ditty bag.
How awesome is that? They knew people were going to be saying, hey, where's Sarge? Because, I mean, let's face it, man. As an actual living Joe, Sarge is like the face of the franchise for so many kids from the 80s. I know I'm not saying much about this because, quite honestly, I've only flipped through the rules a little bit, but what I have read makes me really excited. I haven't been this excited about a new RPG probably since 3rd edition D20 Dungeons & Dragons, and that was an age ago. So I'm looking forward to this one. I hope I can get the group in on this one, maybe use this as a diversion from what we're doing with Robotech right now, although we're kind of really into it with Robotech. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, but this is really good. For my first outing with Renegade Games, I'm kind of impressed with how deep, but yet how easy the rules are. Like, you can really, really get deep into your character, but everything is very easy to understand. It's not a mess. Sometimes role-playing games like this give you way too many options, and things become a bit of a mess for the character, and you don't really know what you're doing with that character. But with this, it's also easy to follow. Everything is laid out. And I just have a feeling this is going to be a great, great time. I've also backed their Mission Critical, their board game on Kickstarter, so I'm looking forward to getting that. I think it's coming out next year, but I'm looking forward to getting that, and we will definitely be taking a look at that when that comes out. I haven't done one of these show and tell videos for a while, and I kind of miss it. I kind of like being able to get a look at a bunch of things that I really wouldn't have normally done a full review on. The more I looked at this dragon, the more I thought I could have done a full video on that dragon by itself. But here we are. The Funko Pop I definitely wouldn't have done one on. The Wreckin Cycles I definitely wouldn't have done one on, just because I'm only using them for the Dreadnoks. And I mean, the role-playing game over here, once I get more into the rules, and who knows, maybe once I get my Steel Brigade figure, we'll take a look at the rules and we'll actually roll up a character. You'll see what I mean if and when the Steel Brigade figure ever comes from Big Bad. But that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this look at my loot. And until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.